This is the London Bridge, but this isn't London. Not even close. This is Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The bridge used to be in London, but it got bought by this guy, Robert P. McCullough, and transported into the middle of the Arizona desert to sell more real estate. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Is this the London Bridge that is falling down, my fair lady? Great question. The thing is, that's a little tough to answer, so let's start from the beginning. It turns out the first London Bridge was built on top of a string of boats by the Romans in 43 BCE. Well, it wasn't called the London Bridge at that point, of course, but it did cross the River Thames in roughly the same place where the other London bridges would later be constructed, so I'm counting it. It's not clear what caused the original bridge to fall down, but we do know what happened to the next bridge. Vikings. In 1014, back when the Danes were in London, the Saxons joined force with a band of Vikings under King Olaf to sail up the Thames and destroy the then wooden London Bridge. So, once again, the bridge fell down and had to be rebuilt. This time, however, the bridge was designed by a priest named Peter of Colechurch, who had the brilliant idea of constructing it out of stone. It took 33 years to complete this more stable version of the London Bridge, but it was finally finished in 1209 CE. And it was well worth it too, as this version would last for more than 600 years. But of course, there were some issues throughout its life. One of the defining characteristics of this legendary bridge was that it used to be covered in houses and shops. It was so densely packed with buildings that crossing the bridge became like going through a tunnel where people were living and selling things all around you. Unfortunately, only 3 years after it was completed, a fire tore through the shops and houses, killing thousands and destroying every single building. But don't worry, it only took a few years to rebuild it all. Then, in 1282, 5 of the bridge's 19 arches collapsed under the pressure of winter ice. For almost the next 500 years, the bridge would be in an almost constant state of disrepair, but still stood as the only way to cross over the Thames. In 1762, the city finally decided to undergo a massive overhaul of the bridge. They stripped away all the shops and houses, widened the carriageway, repaired the foundations, and even replaced some of the arches near the middle with a much larger central arch. The problem with creating a large central arch, however, was that it led to massive erosion of the river. So, in 1832, the ancient bridge was destroyed after 622 years of service. But while the old bridge was being demolished, a new bridge had been built just upriver of its predecessor. And it's this bridge, completed in 1831, that served as the new London Bridge until 1968, when it was shipped off to the United States. The current bridge is, well, a little boring. It was opened up to traffic in 1973, but now that London has plenty of bridges crossing the Thames, it's just another way to get from one side to the other. So, which bridge is the London Bridge from the nursery rhyme? Well, the titular bridge is probably the one that stood for over 600 years. It was constantly needing to be repaired because otherwise it would fall down. Plus, the earliest written account of a similar rhyme was written in the 1600s, smack dab in the middle of that bridge's tenure. But some people think the song is even older, possibly dating back to the Middle Ages, and may even be referring to the Viking attack that took down the bridge all those years ago. Another, more sinister explanation suggests that the song is really about child sacrifice. Apparently, after seeing the bridge burn and crumble over so many years, children were entombed within the foundations of the bridge to ensure that the bridge would not fall. That process, by the way, is known as Immurement, and has been known to occur throughout history, but there's no archaeological evidence to show that it happened with the London Bridge. That only leaves one thing unanswered. Who is the fair lady? And this is possibly the hardest question to answer. Folklore scholars and historians have very little to go off of when trying to uncover who the song is referring to. Some think it's the Virgin Mary, who, it's said, helped fight off the Vikings. Others think it's Matilda of Scotland, Henry I's consort who was in charge of building the bridge. And others still think it might be Eleanor of Provence, Henry III's consort, who was known to keep the money that the bridge was making instead of using it to fix the bridge. So, whatever the truth may be, it's fair to say that the London Bridge and all of the fair ladies have just as colorful and rich a history as the song that the kids have been singing for hundreds of years. So, what do you think London Bridge is Falling Down is about? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to play our special quiz on Sporcle.com that we made just for this video. And hey, why not subscribe for more mentally stimulating diversions? See you next time.